Loneliness is more than just an unpleasant feeling. It's a serious public health issue, linked to higher risks of depression, heart disease, dementia, and even early death. With more and more adults feeling isolated in today's world, researchers have been working to find ways to help. But which interventions actually work? A major meta-analysis by Masi, Chen, Hawkley, and Cacioppo from the University of Chicago tackled this question head-on. They reviewed dozens of scientific studies that tried to reduce loneliness, analyzing the effectiveness of different strategies. The results offer important lessons for anyone trying to design better solutions, or anyone looking for ways to feel more connected. The researchers identified 4 major types of interventions used to fight loneliness. First, programs that tried to improve social skills, teaching people how to have better conversations and build stronger relationships. Second, efforts that tried to enhance social support, helping people feel cared for and less alone. Third, interventions that simply increased opportunities for social contact, like group activities or community meetups. And fourth, programs that addressed maladaptive social cognition, meaning they help people change the negative thoughts and assumptions that often come with loneliness. Across the studies they analysed, not all interventions were equally effective. In fact, when comparing randomised controlled trials, the gold standard for scientific research, the clear winner was interventions that focused on changing maladaptive thinking. In other words, it wasn't enough to just meet more people or have more chances to socialise. What mattered most was helping people shift the way they thought about themselves and others. Lonely people often have deeply rooted beliefs that others will reject them, that they are unworthy of friendships, or that trying to connect will just lead to more pain. These beliefs can create a vicious cycle where fear and mistrust block new connections. Interventions that help people recognize these automatic negative thoughts and treat them like hypotheses rather than facts were the most successful. They allowed individuals to approach social situations with more openness and less fear, breaking the cycle of loneliness. Interestingly, programs that only increased opportunities for social contact, like setting up more group meetings, did not work very well on their own. The researchers pointed out that loneliness isn't simply about the number of people around you. It's about the quality of your relationships and how safe you feel with others. Another important finding was that single-group pre-post studies, where participants were measured before and after an intervention without a control group, often showed larger effects. But when the researchers looked only at higher quality studies, where participants were randomly assigned to different groups, the results were smaller but more reliable. This highlights the need for careful design when studying loneliness interventions. It's easy to get hopeful results if you don't control for biases, but real, lasting change requires more than just good intentions. So what does all of this mean for individuals and society? First, if you're feeling lonely, it might not be enough to just get out more or join more clubs. You may also need to work on the inner narratives that shape your interactions. Therapy approaches like cognitive behavioral therapy, which focus on challenging negative thoughts, can be especially helpful. Second, for healthcare providers, educators, and community organisers, it's a reminder that successful programs must go deeper than surface-level social activities. They must address the emotional and cognitive roots of loneliness to truly make a difference. Finally, it's a call to take loneliness seriously, not just as a personal problem, but as a public health issue that deserves thoughtful, evidence-based solutions. Loneliness can be devastating, but with the right strategies, healing is possible, not just by adding more people into our lives, but by changing the way we see ourselves and others.